Oh! Dude, that's like a Molotov cocktail.
Your head is soaked.
It is, yes, it is quite glistening.
Oh! Wow!
I'm Sean Dreyer. I started doing this because I really thought this would be maybe a fun way to get some good content out there about PM&R in a way that's kind of engaging and fun. These are leaders in the field, and these are people that I want you to see for all they've accomplished, but also for the people that they are and their personalities, because that's like the whole package, and I think that's who we attract here in this specialty. Dr. Dragojlovic, he actually has some like pre-existing GI issue as of last night, but he still showed up right now.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
The first question, I want to try to humanize this panel a little bit. So I want to know, what's the biggest blunder you've had?
That's very nice. I was a new attending, and you know, for residents and students here, like when you're a new attending, you're like really nervous, actually, if you don't know that. But I was doing an ultrasound guided procedure with one of my residents, and I was trying to show that I kind of know what I'm doing, whatever. And we were plugging the machine into the wall, and as I plugged it in, the entire back seam of my pants just completely ripped open and made like the very loud like noise. And we all kind of just pretended that never happened, and I grabbed my white coat very quickly to cover that up, and it was quite mortifying.
I will subject myself to this cruelty.
Wow, I smell it from here.
Yeah, it's quite tasty. It's
Well,
nice.
it's like strong.
There's notes of like torture and gastrointestinal burning already.
Mine's going to be a more serious one. So when I was a junior faculty, took my CV to one of our associate deans to look at my CV and tell me what my chances would be for promotion. He said, I give you a 50-50 shot. And I was like, whoa, that sounds really bad. That sounds low. It's a little scary. And then my coworker went to the same, assistant dean and looked at his CV, and he said, I give you a 50-50 shot. And so he decided that 50-50 was good enough to go for it. I decided that 50-50 was not good enough to go for it. My colleague at the time, yes, he was promoted. I obviously was not, but it was one of those lessons of I really should have gone for it because there was nothing to lose.
I thought you were going to talk about when you took me day drinking as a resident. So this one's embarrassing for me. It was one of the early days of residency, and we were on a consult service, and he sat me down to show me an x-ray, and I was super nervous. We were talking about cranial nerves, and he started to point at the cervical bones, and so he's counting the cervical nerves, C1 through 8, and then he keeps asking me, like, what's wrong with this? And I'm just not picking it up. So obviously there's only 7 vertebrae. And I know that now. Just because you mess up doesn't mean you can't pick up and move forward.
Well, the next question is, what's kind of like a bit of advice you could get for how to rise to the top?
Showing up early, making sure that when you leave for the day, your work's done. When you tell someone you're going to do something, actually do it. If you're on a teaching service, take the time to teach. That's enough for people to notice you and start to trust you and give you more responsibility.
Dr. Gutierrez, you became like a leader in long COVID very early. How did you get to that point? When people thought long COVID, you were the person that came to mind.
When COVID happened and I just felt like at a loss for what can we do during this time as physiatrists. I knew there was an underserved patient population who were being impacted, and then just started to discuss what I was doing, put it on social media, reach out to these patients. It was driven by the work that we do.
How's your stomach doing?
I'm great, how are you? The thing that I think of is that details matter, because those are things that people pick up on very quickly. Whether it's the quality of your notes or the nature of your interactions with other people on the multidisciplinary team, people pay attention to that, and they're looking when you don't think they're looking.
And he was my resident fellow, so I can say, you know, he was
Copyright
very
Monica
excellent.
Verduzco-Gutierrez,
Right,
2017.
yeah.
Nice.
And maybe your co-fellow was a little bit better than you, but that's all right. You're still great.
All right, let's try this. Delicious. Yeah. So what does the top mean? What does that even mean? And who says we're even at the top? I just think the top is, you know, finding what's important to you, what's most meaningful. So if being at the top means taking, you know, great care of your patients and taking care of your family, that's at the top.
What is the single most impressive thing a trainee has ever done? Whether it was a student or a resident or a fellow, what's like one thing that stuck out in your mind where you were like, damn, did you pour enough?
Yeah, that's nice. For me, it's really just like jumping in and participating with reckless abandon. I mean, there's been certain people I worked with that just literally on day one, they felt like they were part of the team, just jumped right in without hesitation.
Now we're talking. I like this one. I might take it home.
It's more than 5 ounces.
I'm the program director. People are always trying to like impress me or get their name in. But the thing that sticks out to me most is when, you know, people are their authentic selves. We had a medical student that handled a counseling session with a patient really poorly, and they were really disappointed in themselves. And you know, they let us know. We offered some guidance and some ideas on how they could do better the next time. We asked that person to, you know, go back in a little bit later. That took a lot of bravery, but it helped build an even stronger relationship between the medical student and the patient and their family, which is hard to do when you're, you know, a medical student on a busy service. When that patient and family were leaving, they were asking about the medical student, which was awesome. This goes to show, like, when you take that chance, you show that authenticity, you show that bravery, people respect that.
Oh, I actually now kind of felt it in the back of the throat, actually.
It's kicking in.
I lied. I'm sorry for talking bad about you. I love med students that are so enthusiastic. They love the field. They're not burned out yet. You know, they they show up on holidays and they're like, "Can I shadow you today on a holiday?" And I was like, "I can't even get the residents here." Wow. But there's one time I can think of in particular. She was a medical student and she had created such like a great relationship with the patient, and the patient was like, "I want the med student to do it," because of that relationship. Wow. I mean, never mind that the med student had never held a needle in their life, but they had like that much faith in the relationship with the medical student.
My residents will tell you I ask them about all the med students, and I care what happens when I'm not in the room. Baked goods are good.
Oh, I love baked goods. That does make you like get an extra point on the rotation for sure. Yeah.
You all get a lot of applications for whether it's from students, residents, or for jobs. In any of these contexts, what is like one big misconception? Your nose is not running? Oh my
Mine
God.
is.
It's
Only on the left though, it's weird.
Mine's not.
I'm just worried about the fairness of this table because I have all like wings and Dr. Wisotzky has all drumsticks. I don't want your pity drumsticks.
Yeah.
Look.
Where are people putting their energy into that's just not worth it, where they should be directing it somewhere else?
This one's hot.
There we go.
It's really good. So yeah, I'll take this from the medical student perspective. And for me, when I look at an application, I'm actually almost more interested in people's performance outside of the PM&R environment than the PM&R environment.
Interesting.
I want to know how you did on your internal medicine rotation and your peds rotation and this and that.
I'm going to give a very contentious take. You know, as a program director, you know, we read a lot of personal statements, and a lot of people lead their introduction into PM&R with like a history of an orthopedic injury. That is the most common personal statement that we get ever. I don't want to deny the fact that that's how some people get exposed to PM&R, but we see so much of it. I would encourage you to use your personal statement to talk about other things, right? That's my favorite one so far. That is delicious.
It's really good.
It was a joke that you can use filters on applications. I was going to filter out ACL.
Right, exactly.
A lot of times the reason that is that they can become monotonous is because it's a list of facts of things that happened to you. And what we're not reading is, what did you overcome and how did that actually lead you to PM&R?
It's a little bit caliente.
On Twitter, we had somebody named Med School Potato.
Potato?
Not potato, potato. Who wanted to ask on top of that, how do you differentiate between applicants who are genuinely want to do the job or PM&R or the fellowship versus those who are just doing it for like the plenty of money and relaxation purposes?
Anybody can fake an interview. When I look at an application, I look at what you're doing, how you volunteer, how the attendings speak about you, someone that is multitasking. But I often think about that when you say, like, be there for the right reasons, like they say on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Are you here for that? Right. I don't want to hear that you are wanting to date me because of where I live. You know, I want to hear that it's the program. Sometimes when people come in just say, like, New York, New York, New York, that's a bit of a turnoff because I feel like I'm second place. You need to put me on the pedestal.
I'm afraid of that one.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, it's oily.
I'm scared.
I feel like that's pure gasoline.
Yep.
I'm thinking,
Why don't you put a little more on, Dr. Dreyer?
This next question, when is it time to hit the brakes? I felt like as a PGY3, I said yes to everything. You got to draw the line somewhere, whether you're a resident or you're an attending. I just want you to be a little bit in pain.
So my answer to this is, what do I need to do to get me to the next step? What did I need on my CV to get me promoted? And I was, very good in clinical and teaching, and what I was lacking in was in the research. So I really was focusing on saying yes on things that were research or that were national presentations. I still have problems with saying no to things and say a lot of yeses.
Just while Nikola's taking the bite and drinks his milk.
Oh! Dude, that's like a Molotov cocktail. Oh. Wow. No, it's such a common pitfall, right? We're so eager to please the people that we work with. And that comes out of that, sort of med student mentality that's not necessarily healthy or productive. Don't say yes to something just because someone offers it to you. Wait for better opportunities that you're more passionate about, because then when you're passionate about it, your creativity will shine, the energy will go into it, and you'll enjoy it.
Also, not being afraid to, like, if you're looking at new opportunities, to offload old one.
And then when you say no, like I was saying, sponsor someone else in that place that you know that needs that opportunity or wants to be there.
This is the moment that I've been waiting for personally.
You might want to opt out.
Like raspberry.
Yeah, I'll let you pour your own. 135,000 Scoville units. But everybody agrees on Reddit that this is the spiciest.
You gotta get your nose right up to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
That singed my Eastern European nose hairs right off.
That's a lot. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh,
That's plenty hot.
This one is hot.
It's definitely like,
Hold on.
Yeah, cheers.
Julie.
Let's take a break here. Who's your celebrity crush?
Susan Sarandon.
I feel like I'm at that point of the cartoon where they're about to have fire out their ears, so.
I have hiccups coming in now.
You're sweating.
Dab, dab, dab. Dab, dab, dab.
I was already dabbing. Oh my gosh.
Anyone else?
Gal Gadot.
I feel like mine's attainable.
Ouch. Wow. It just lingers.
Real question. If you're trying to connect to a program director or someone you want to get a job
Thank you,
from,
boss.
how do you do that in social media tactfully?
I mean, I have gotten interest emails that are this long with the entire life story.
I'm gonna give a little more concrete, and I'll say twice.
Twice, okay.
Send one quick introduction. Hi, my name is Sean Dreyer. And then wait a week. And if you don't get a response, try one more time. And then if you don't get a response after that, social media is not working.
Yeah.
If you sent 2 or 3 and you haven't gotten any response, but you really want to reach out, finding a different person, the coordinator is a great suggestion. If you're med students, maybe the chiefs.
It's just in my lips now. I feel like I need to make this my lipstick.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Wow. Ooh.
Nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Get that?
Nice.
This is over 700,000 Scoville units. Anybody have a good question from the audience? Something you want to know from this panel? The question was, if you look at Student Doctor Network, which is not a healthy place to be on the internet, I'm not gonna lie.
100% toxic.
Does name brand matter, like the pedigree of the school you came from? And I guess let's apply that both to getting into residency, but also fellowships and for jobs.
It's not bad.
The bomb has completely singed my
Taste buds.
total taste receptors.
I think name brand does matter. I don't think it's everything though. Post PM&R training, I think is where it might come into play just a little bit more. Everybody has their own personal connections. I think that's even more so than the name.
If you're dead set on applying to a very competitive field like pain medicine or sports medicine, going to a program that has a history of successful placements in those fellowships is really important.
There's no name brand higher than UT Health San Antonio, but
Okay.
I don't care if you're in the best program that there is, but if you're not happy and it doesn't align with what your goals are, that's gonna be a huge mistake. What people are doing at individual no-name hospitals are amazing, and the way you're touching people's lives and making a difference, that's what really matters.
All right.
Is your goal to go to the top-ranked program on Doximity, or is it to help people? The Doximity rankings are a popularity contest. There are a lot of amazing programs not in that top 10. What you should be looking at is the experience that you'd get at a residency program and how that would set you up for what you want to do.
If you could go back in time and tell yourself as a trainee one thing, what would it be, knowing what you know right now?
Take advantage of your attendings. In what I mean by that is, I leaned on my attendings in a way that I felt like I could have learned more. I think if I had done a better job early on in residency of reading and getting the foundational knowledge on my own, I could have leveraged my attendings knowledge better.
Your head is soaked.
It is, yes, it is quite glistening.
One of like the worst points in my residency, I tried to be a chief resident and was not chosen to be a chief resident. You know, I was really upset. It was this period of like, oh, am I in the right field? Like, what do people think of me? I decided to have another baby in residency and, you know, make that my family my focus at that point. And just say, okay, well, I'll have another time to be in a leadership role, and it didn't harm me.
I think everybody feels that. It's both a relief and a sting if you don't get it, but it's not like it's gonna change the course of your life.
Right.
This is the end of our panel here. Thank you everybody for attending. Thank you our wonderful panelists.
Is there a winner?
What was that?
Is there a winner?
Monica, do you always have to win?
Yes.
Yes.
She does.
All my clothes is from Costco.
Yeah.
All right.
Mine are not.
I just like saying your last name because it sounds Eastern European.
I don't like saying yours.
I'm so popular.